It's time for Game On Hockey with Travis Dunn and Scott Taylor.
Near side, Reese Gaber shoots, score!
Talking all things from the blue line to the red line.
A breakaway for Kaprizov. He's in. He shoots. He scores!
And beyond.
Sure, old-time hockey. Like 80s Shore. Yeah.
Now here are your hosts, Travis Dunn and Scott Taylor.
Our next guest, and I go back, 30 years maybe.
Probably around 30.
Yeah, when young Aleks Paunovic was a up and coming boxer in Manitoba, and of course his dad was one of the best boxing coaches in the province, certainly amateur boxing. He was a kind of the king of the amateur boxers in Manitoba, and so Alex and I go way back to that time, and we go back to the Jets 1.0. That's when he and I used to talk all the time about how the Jets are doing, whether they're winning or losing, and the Bombers, whether they were winning or losing, because I know I'm a big football fan, as well as a boxer. But today, you've probably seen Aleks Paunovic 100 times if you watch movies or television, and you have no idea what his name is. He's often the tough guy, often the heavy, often the bad guy's muscle. But there's more to his career than just that. He was just recently in Hawkeye, where he was the bad guy's muscle, but got a lot more screen time than normal. And today is doing more than just character acting in movies. You've got production going on. You've got all sorts of projects coming out. You've got voiceovers. You got everything that you do. Aleks Paunovic, welcome to the show. Winnipeg's greatest actor of all time. And I know I'll get an email or two for that, but I thought
Monty Hall was that, but
he's not an actor.
Monty Hall. I know. You had to act though in that way. Hey, Aleks, welcome.
Adam Beach.
Well, welcome
Adam
to the
Beach
show.
Is pretty high end. I'm a big fan of Adam Beach's.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely. Well, welcome to the show. We appreciate you joining us. You know, we usually try to keep this into a hockey conversation, but we just like having fun, and that's what we try to do here each and every Thursday. So go back to your love for the game. It turns out that every actor wants to be a hockey player, right? And every hockey player wants to be an actor. How does hockey? What part of your life has got you turned on to the game so well?
I mean, how can you not be a hockey fan when you come out of Manitoba? Like,
yeah,
it's it's in your blood, and especially being a Jets fan. But for me, just growing up and being a fan of the Jets, and you go to school and everybody's a Jets fan. So it's just something that just, it's in your blood. But for me, I think one of my highlights was, because I was a big Serge Savard fan. One of my highlights is when he came to Winnipeg. And I told this story the other day just because it's one of those things, because, like acting, I have some fans here and there that really kind of reach out to me, which is really great. But I tell the story of how, I was super excited to see Serge Savard. I run down during the warm-up skate, and I'm right by the window and right by the glass where they come out and go back into the dressing room. And I'm just in awe seeing Serge Savard, just in awe. And then he just sees me and gives me a little bit of a wink. I still remember that wink. Like when you look up to somebody and you have that kind of like admiration, and all they just give you a little bit of love. I still remember that. So when I go to Comic-Cons or when I'm working or recognized on the street, I love people recognize me and people being a fan and giving them that energy, because it affected me so much that I still remember that to this day and how it made me feel. So, Serge Savard was my guy. But yeah, the early Jet days, man, like Jim Kite and Scrapper, I love it.
Now you were a Scrapper yourself.
Yeah.
But you have moved to Vancouver, where acting in Canada, it's part of the industry of Vancouver. You have not been infected with the Canucks bug. You're still a Jets fan today?
Oh, I love going to the Canucks games. Believe me, I think it's a great it's great to just be a part of the community here and see the. But I'm a diehard Jets fan, like Jets till the end for me. Like, especially when they came back, I was just super excited about that. So yeah, I can't let go of the Jets. No way.
Well, and we have to tie a University of North Dakota thing into this, Scott, because obviously Brock Besser, you're probably pretty familiar, Paul, with the University of North Dakota. That's where I played way back I played with Doug Smale. That's how old I am. You might remember Doug Smale or
I
Phil
remember
Sykes, right?
Doug, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, give us an update on Brock Besser and the team. The Vancouver's doing pretty well. They're not quite in the playoffs, but they're very close. What do they need to do to get over that hump?
Well, they're close, and I just think that it's about the defense. I just think their defense has to be a lot stronger, I just think that there's a lot of things that they have to get over the hump. I know there's some injuries also, so hopefully they can get over that hump and get in the playoffs. But they're close, hopefully.
Tell us how you go from being a pretty solid boxer, an up-and-coming boxer in Manitoba, to becoming I'll say it, movie star. How does that happen for a kid whose dad's a boxing coach? I don't suppose your dad was an actor at any time in his life.
No.
And so how does this happen? How do you move from Winnipeg, Manitoba to Hollywood, California?
Well, it was one of those things because I competed quite a bit, and then I won the Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba provincials, and I was, making my way towards what I was hoping was the Pan Am Games and the Olympics. It was during that time, and I went in the pre-Pan American tournament fighting against Argentina. I was up 9-0, and it was I had it was going great, and then I'll never forget I dropped him with a body shot. Went back to my corner, looked to the old man for instruction, and he was like solid jab and finished with the left because I'm a southpaw. And as I came in with the jab, he just kind of did one of these, like almost like just kind of to ricochet, and it ripped my shoulder out of the socket, and my rotator cuff went out. And then as I was down, I just, as your instinct is, I started punching my shoulder like something was wrong, and it dropped in, which was an amazing feeling. But then I got back up and I started going, and as I rose my hand a little bit more, it fell off. So that was the end of my career, and that was for me when it's such a, like, that's how quick it can go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, I really loved entertainment, and at that time, as you know, I was playing in a metal band also.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and so doing a lot of that and boxing. And then a casting director saw me play and asked if I would audition for a film. And I just love saying yes to stuff. So I said, yeah, and went into the room.
How old were you then?
Oh, dude, I think I was in my 30s. I didn't really take acting seriously till I was 35. And I really didn't start booking till I was in my early 40s. So I started very, very late, where a lot of people will say, don't give it a shot. You're too old to do it. But I've been very fortunate with the work that I've been getting, and now I'm executive producing my own projects, and it's really been amazing. And right now I'm like about to do 2 more movies with Anthony Hopkins, which I'm really excited about. So it kind of did that turn. So for me, the move into acting was, I just loved telling a story. And I started out as a stunt guy, and after I got that role, the stunt community was very small, and Rick Skeen was he basically my mentor. Rick Skeen, amazing dude, and his sons are great. And so he kind of brought me into the stunt community because they didn't have a big guy. So I loved doing that, and that's how I learned. So I would play till like 2:00 in the morning in a bar, and then go to the movie set where they're saying, don't talk to the actor, move those sets, get us some coffee. I just wanted to learn. I just wanted to be immersed in it.
Again, we're doing something a little bit different. We did talk hockey with Alec. That's the problem. But now we're talking acting. A couple of bad actors talking to a good actor. I'm Travis Dunn. That's Scott Taylor. And Alec, you talk about connections within the world of acting and so on. When you drop a name like Anthony Hopkins, how did that conversation come about?
Well, my really good friend, he hired me to do this film called Blackway starring Anthony Hopkins, and I was just fangirling. Like, I couldn't believe I was in the movie with Hopkins. And I remember the moment that people were saying, like, we're doing our scene together, and basically, okay, or actually what they said was, Tony's coming in now. And I'm like, how the hell can you call him Tony? Like, that's Sir Anthony Hopkins. And I don't know why I did this, but I was like, talking to myself, don't fangirl. And I just saw the door open. So I turned my back to the door because I didn't want to look at him while he was coming because I'll fangirl. So I'm like, don't fangirl. And then the AD goes, hey, Alex, so this is Tony. Like, you guys are going to be working together. And I just did one of these. What's up, man? And then I realized, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was trying to play. I played it way too cool. I'm just such a huge fan. And then we just became friends and started like hanging out and texting each other. And like, it was mind blowing for me. And then from that relationship and with Rick Dugdale, he had the idea during COVID to do this film just all on Zoom. It's called Zero Contact because literally there's zero contact in the first film. And we literally started it during lockdown, and it's all done basically like this. And it's and Anthony Hopkins plays a brilliant mind that develops this quantum leap time machine, and it kind of goes from there. And just with the strength of that, we're now shooting movie 2 and movie 3 and made it into a franchise on an NFT platform called Viewly. But I do have to say, like, I've been doing a ton of interviews with Hawkeye stuff and this stuff in my show Gen Zeros. But one of the reasons why I really wanted to jump on with you guys, when Scott, you asked me to be a part of this, there was no hesitation. You're one of the most respected journalists that I know in Manitoba, if not, period, that I personally know. And when I wasn't sure about what I was going to do with my career, I went to the National Institute of Broadcast. I was like a camera guy, and I just wanted to be a part of the action. And you were always so kind to me, always gave me tons of knowledge, and I would do anything for you, my man. I just have tons of mad respect for you. And it was interesting because my publicist literally I said I have to jump on and do this interview. She goes, what interview? I didn't approve any interview. I went, no, it's all right. This one's mine. So I just have that much respect for you, man. And when you called, I just jumped right to it. It wasn't even about talking about me. I just wanted to see your face again, man.
Well, I tell you what, Alek, that's the voice of Aleks Paunovic. You can Google him and find out all about his career. And you know what, Alex, that's the same thing when I thought about doing this radio show. He's north of the border. We could do it on Zoom, do it together. There's no one I respect more and have read for over the years. And people down here, he knows the USHL, he knows NHL, he knows the minor league game, and of course, GameOnHockey.ca. Make sure to look that up too. Is wonderful magazine. Scott, you're blushing, but that's high compliment.
Well, yeah,
right. Before you get started, I got to tell you something that is a close knit thing. So you did an article where I coached Troy Westwood in a boxing match.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I remember that.
Check out how crazy this is, because I didn't know this until I was actually shooting the second film of the Hopkins film. But Tara Westwood is starring with me in that film, and I didn't know she was Troy's sister until we were already shooting.
How'd you not know? They almost look the same.
That's what I kind of like, it hit me. I was like, you almost look like a guy. Like, the last thing I would think is she is from Winnipeg and Troy Westwood had that like connection. And I literally was like, you look like a kicker that played for the Bombers. She goes, that's my brother. I'm like, what? So I just had to get that in there because we were talking about you when we were like shooting. So yeah.
Isn't that wonderful? Well, thank you very much for the compliment, but I want to ask you something. How'd you get the Hawkeye role? That's big time. That's Disney money.
Yeah.
How did it come about?
Honestly, man, it was an audition that doesn't have a title. It literally says untitled project, and the sides are all different. And I was literally working on something else at the time. So when the audition came in, it was literally one take. And it was me playing. I usually play Eastern European dudes, which kind of is in my pocket. So I literally just sent that out because I only had 15 minutes to do this audition. Then I had to get back to work. And then I get a call from my agent going, you booked Marvel. I went, when did I go out for Marvel? What? And they're like, you just booked Hawkeye. When did I audition for Hawkeye? And they're like, that one that you did that didn't know what it was. And I said, really? And so that's how I got it. And then, fast forward, and we spent 7.5 months in New York and Atlanta shooting it. It was pretty great. And having that interview with the call with the director and the producers, and them saying, they did a worldwide search, and so they've got one guy, Piotr from Poland, Carlos from Florida, and myself, and we're very, very good friends now. So it was a blast doing the show for sure.
Well, you talked about working with Anthony Hopkins. You also work with Jeremy Renner. I mean, he's big time. And Haley Steinfeld is big time now. I mean,
oh yeah,
a little older. I mean, she's a different generation, but we're talking big time names.
Yeah,
Kristen D'Onofrio. I mean, really.
It's great. And what's so crazy is that I was in Vancouver, and one of my friends runs a really fantastic studio called Railtown. It's an actor studio, and D'Onofrio was shooting up here, and I'm talking, this was like just before the pandemic started, and he was up here working. So he loves to go into classes and just teach a workshop. He loves to stay active. So I sat in that. There was only 10 of us that were asked to be in that class, and D'Onofrio was in it. So I took a class with D'Onofrio, and then months later, I'm now working with him, which was mind blowing, because I was sitting there going, I can't believe D'Onofrio like coaching me in the scene of just like studying, and I'm looking at him going, you're effing D'Onofrio, like this is crazy. And now I end up working with him months later, or on the same show months later. So yeah.
Incredible. And you've just signed again for Snowpiercer, right? Season 4?
Just finished up, and I'll be back on Snowpiercer season 4. Yeah.
Well, believe it or not, you're listening to Game on Hockey on 790 KFGO and 104.7 FM. That's Paul, pardon me, Aleks Paunovic, an actor. Our first time ever, a good actor on the show, between a couple of bad actors, Scott Taylor and myself. Alek, this has been just an absolute blast. I think the bottom line is this: if you follow your passion, whether it be in sports or whether it be in acting, you're going to achieve what you've achieved. And I can't, we bypassed your publicist, which apologize to her for that in that regard. It's all good. But Scott, what a great hit. And I hope people out there are laughing and enjoying this as much as I have.
Well, yeah, I mean, because he's from Winnipeg, so he's an old broken down hockey guy anyway.
That's right. we all are eventually.
Yeah, we all are at some point. But the thing about Aleks is he's kept himself in perfect physical condition and has been able to pull off some pretty great roles, and roles that are getting better. I'm really impressed with the fact that you now have your own production company and you're out producing your own movies. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Gen0.com. Gen0s.com is this new sci-fi live action project that we're doing as NFTs. And it's really super exciting. They'll be coming out at the end of March. And I love like the actors that we got, and being able to like run a show that you can see everybody working with. Like that just warms my heart that everybody's working because you brought a show together with.
Tell you what, if you need a couple of old guys to do a scene in a radio thing, we got that taken care of. We're available. We're available.
One with a hat is way better looking than the other guy, but we'll still do that.
Hey, Aleks Paunovic, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute blast. Good luck with everything moving forward. Enjoy those Canucks games, but still keep cheering on those Winnipeg Jets.
Always. Thanks, guys.